I love the idea of this dish. I think the provenance of having high-quality duck in this country is just great.
Wonderful.
I just think it's really... It just encapsulates everything. I mean, it's great for a banquet. I think it's easy to do. I think it's really simple cooking, and British cooking at its best. You wouldn't get this dish anywhere else in the world apart from Britain.
And I love this pea mixture because there's the duck skin in there, and that gives it crunchy.
This, to me, is absolutely what this competition is all about. Duck. Finding an ingredient that we're not seeing enough of and bringing it to the table of this quality. It is just so beautifully cooked. When I look at it, I want to eat it. I feel happy. And this banquet should be about happiness. It should be about celebration. And he's done all those things. And to me, the sauce is the thing that carries everything together, because that sauce sort of works with everything. I could use it. I should be dipping the chips in it, actually.
Well, I was exactly what I was doing.
What's wrong with me? I'm slipping up here.
I'm just so relieved about this dish because I loved it the first time and I love it this time.
This is a chef who has really connected with his ingredients from the part of the world where he's cooking from.
This is the sort of dish where I've eaten here in the judges' chamber where I want to get in my car, drive to his restaurant and eat it again.
So once again, Tom's dish has hit the right notes with the judges. But what will his rival chefs think?
So tender.
Tell you what, that's some of the best chips I've ever had in my life.
So this is an amazing dish.
Do you think duck and chips is royal enough for His Royal Highness?
Definitely. This is definite so far top 3 for me.
Big Tom Kerridge. Now there is a proper chef. Not does he know how to go out and source really fantastic ingredients, but he also knows to cook them to perfection. He has the touch of an angel, and I think that deserves a 9.
Matthew, I absolutely agree with you. I think that was a brilliant dish. Those chips were just to die for. So I'm giving it a 9.
That, for me, was just absolutely near perfect. So I give that a 9.
The quality of that duck, those chips, that sauce, the presentation. I love having duck in the banquet. I think it's perfect for this occasion. It's a 10.
Oh.
Ooh.
So, 4 fantastic marks. Has Tom done it? It's certainly made it hard for the other chefs, but they already knew this is a tough competition. And no one more so than the Central Region's Will Holland. He's been wide of the mark this week, having come last in the first 2 courses, so he's under huge pressure to deliver today. He's done a great job on sourcing, but will his dish of roast saddle of Portland lamb with asparagus crown be good enough to make it to the banquet?
This really is D-Day for Will, because he's got to perform today. If he's in last place again today, I think
he won't turn up tomorrow.
He won't be happy.
And I must say, I know I like this dish more than you two did, because I thought it was real party banquet food. It showed a lot of care, a lot of skill, and above all, it tasted delicious.
I don't think anybody's in doubt that Will is a really technically brilliantly equipped chef. The real question is, will he bring more personality to the plate? I very much hope so.
So it seems the judges will be looking for real improvement today. But can Will pull it off?
I think my main course is my strongest dish. It's a dish for a grand occasion, and I think, you know, it ticks a lot of boxes for me, so I hope the judges are ticking the same boxes as well.
But his rivals in the kitchen are quick to stick the knife in.
Coming last 2 days in a row, it must be confidence today.
Thanks for reminding me, Kenny. It'd be nice to move off bottom spot, climb the table a little bit, even if it's just 1. I can't stay at the bottom for the 3rd day.
The pressure for Will today is massive. You know, he's been bottom twice. He's got a different look in his eyes. He really looks like he means business today.
Will's hoping the centrepiece of his dish, a royal crown of asparagus, will be one aspect that will wow the judges. But they're not easy to assemble, and Nathan seems determined to put him off his stride.
Some technical stuff there, isn't it?
Yeah. You're always just wondering, just as we're doing some nice, stressful bits, Nath?
I took some serious ribbons yesterday, so I thought I'd pass it all back.
Watching Will go the extra mile with his crowns has got Tom worried about the standard of the dish he's up against.
Will's looks like it's going to be really good. Loads of variables for it to go wrong, and it could go wrong. But if it doesn't, it will be stunning.
But it looks as if his showpiece might not be quite up to scratch.
Will, are you happy with the crowns? You happy the way they're flapping over?
I don't think that's a problem.
You think of a crown, you think of it straight up, don't you?
Aware that the longer they're left standing, the less regal they'll look, Will races to get the dish out. He starts by laying his potato cake, Then the roast saddle of lamb, and finishes with a broad bean and mint salad and a lamb sauce. Will's clearly feeling the strain, but he can only hope his dish will taste significantly better than the Crown's look.
The Crown jewels.
Either he's overcooked the asparagus a bit or they're exploding a bit.
The Crown's flopped.
One of the reasons may be that the custard has curdled, and so it hasn't got that solidity that helps to hold it together.
I agree with Prue. The asparagus Crown needs a little bit more work, so it's not flopping, and you can't serve a custard what's curdled. But having said that, you know, I like the way he's gone a little bit retro with it. I think that's kind of cool.
The little bits of asparagus in the lamb are wrapped up in sorrel, which is quite interesting.
Yes,
and the potatoes are delicious, aren't they?
Aren't they lovely? They're spuds.
I get this feeling, you know, there's a really sort of distinctive personality, but just peeking out. And what one wants is a clear and obvious statement of personality.
But you see, I think you're misunderstanding. I think this is a clear and obvious statement of personality. I think what he's done is he's thought, I'm going to go for a retro royal dish. I think there is real personality in this dish. I have no problem with the dish. I just have a problem with the execution.
So the judges don't seem overly impressed. What about the jury in the prep room?
You see that the asparagus Crown's started to lose its shape a little bit.
The lamb's cooked beautifully, flavours are there. It's just simple.
Will's dish, when it got put down, I really liked the retro presentation. I felt the custard was a little bit overcooked. Good piece of lamb, you know, it was well sourced, but I just didn't get that wow factor, you know, what we're looking for in this competition. And for me, he gets a 6.
The only thing that let it down for me was the Crown. When we're at this level of competition, I think although it's his best dish, it's still a 7.
Will did this dish much better the first time round. I mean, I do think it's a great dish. It's, I love the Crown, it's a good royal joke. Everybody would be pleased with such a festive thing going down in front of them, and it tasted delicious. But I don't think it's achievable for 100 people, so I'm giving it a 7.
I would be very happy to eat this dish, I must say, if every part of it was done absolutely perfectly. I think it's got great flavours to it. I think it really respects the ingredients. I think it's a wonderful statement of summer on a plate. However, as we all know, there were 1 or 2 technical problems about it today. Poor old Will. I mean, I don't want to give him a sympathy vote, but I really do think that it's a 7.
So not quite the resounding success Will was hoping for. While the first 3 chefs have been cooking their socks off, in the back kitchen, Scottish champion Alan Murchison has been desperately trying to put today's dish together. His first 2 dishes scored poorly, and his main course of steak and chips was damned by the judges in the regional heats, so he's decided to change it at the last minute.
Today I'm going to do something very spontaneous. I'm sort of flying by the seat of my pants. I'm still going to be changing the dish as it goes out to the judges. I'm going to have to rely on 22 years of cooking to get me through today.
But because Alan is changing his dish, he hasn't been able to source the new ingredients. And as tracking down produce from around historic properties is the main focus of this year's challenge, he's now having to ring round suppliers in Scotland to see if they can provide what he'd need if this new dish made it all the way to the banquet.
So I'm looking for some mushrooms that you'd be able to get to me for a banquet. Can you tell us what you want?
And his last-minute approach isn't going down well with his fellow chefs.
You could look at Alan and saying he's made a bit of a mockery at this competition. We've all spent a lot of time sourcing, meeting some great suppliers and producers. To create a dish 20 minutes before the event today is a little bit disrespectful to the other guys that have put so much work into it.
Luckily, just minutes before he's due in the kitchen, he manages to confirm that he would be able to source the vast majority of his ingredients locally.
I think you might have just got me out of jail. I will speak to you soon.
So, in a battle of the beef dishes, Alan will be cooking alongside Northern Ireland champion Niall McKenna.
Battle of the beef here we go.
Indeed, we've had a few battles this week.
Big day.
After 2 terrible days in the kitchen, there's a lot riding on his main course. But is his gamble of devising a new dish of braised shin with sirloin steak, pom puree and wild garlic really the way to lead him to the victory he so desperately needs?
It's pretty brave to say to us just before he starts cooking, I've no idea what I'm going to do.
That's exciting. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
I did not think that Alan's first dish in this competition was nearly good enough. What I think is a real challenge for him this day is to use more or less the same ingredients and to come up with something which is going to convince us that it is going to be good enough to go through to the banquet.
I know you don't get nerves, mate. I've seen that there. You're as hard as rock. But at the end of the day, yesterday, change of dish didn't turn out well. Today, you're totally changing dish. So, mate, where are you going?
The thing is with it is the dishes I've done so far I've thought have been very, very strong. The judges don't see it that way, so I'm having to now adapt accordingly. I've made a few calls this morning just to... I had a change of dish in my mind, and I've managed to establish the things that are going to be amazing.
Get this all together in one day, mate.
Yeah.
It took me absolute months to get this together.
Work smarter, not harder. Focused my energy.
Really?
That's it. What can go wrong?
Rival chef Niall is less than impressed with Alan's risky strategy.
It's a competition, it's not a joke. We've all taken it very seriously, sourcing, because I think that's been one of the best spins of this whole competition, is you have to actually go out and source the produce. If you're going to come in this competition, then you have to put the work into it, and Alan hasn't.
Every single day, every chef in the country phones producers and gets suppliers in for that day. I'm not doing anything new. Again, it's a gamble, but if you don't gamble, you don't win.
Alan has filled bones with braised shin and water-bathed his sirloin steak, but he's still got his pomme puree and vegetables to cook. And with a whole new dish to pull together, it's no wonder he's beginning to feel the heat.
How are we getting on, Chef Murchison?
Murchison, screw tightening, biting off more than he can chew title, but...
Oh, were you regretting changing the dish?
Never.
Never.
You can't have no regrets in life, mate.
While Alan might be under pressure, he's doing all he can to hide it from his competitors by presenting a confident front.
I was at a cookery lesson. Gather round. Well, the thing is, obviously, being the elder statesman here, it's good to teach you young punks a thing or two about cooking and spontaneity. Just watch and learn, OK?
Well, he might be playing the Joker now, but will he still be smiling at the end of the day? After pan-frying his sirloin steak, he adds it to the plate of asparagus, wild garlic, pomme puree and bone filled with braised shin. He finishes with a garnish of broad beans, morels and a splash of gravy.
Hopefully I'll eat well.
Yeah, it's a good dish, mate. You've done well.
See how we go.
Good Lord.
Well, whatever it isn't steak and chips.
No. What is that in the bone? Is it haggis or something?
I don't know. Go and find out. Dig in. Now, we've got, it looks like fillet of beef, wild garlic
it's
leaves.
Not fillet of beef, that's sirloin
morels.
or something.
Was that sirloin?
I think this is a complete mess, I have to tell you. It's just too much all plonked on the plate.
I think it looks OK. I like to see garlic leaves. It's quite prettily arranged.
That beef's not been hung long enough. It's not got enough maturity to it. It lacks a little bit of flavour.
I don't think the gravy's up to snuff. The braised shin is over-seasoned to the point where you can hardly taste the beef. The potatoes are both watery and non-potato-ish, but over-seasoned.
He's gone out on a whim to do something different, to try and produce a world-class dish in minutes. And unfortunately, in my book, world-class dishes are not performed in minutes.
I think the beef itself is not very good.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. So I would have dropped that from the dish completely. I would have focused on far fewer ingredients. I would have braised the leg, paid more attention to that. I would have used... Because actually packing it inside these bones is a really dramatic thing. I think
it's hardly new, though.
I think it is new. I have never seen a marrow bone stuffed with braised shin before.
In the back kitchen, the chefs can't wait to find out if Alan's managed to pull it out of the bag or simply pulled the plug on his chances of making it to the banquet.
Where have you hidden it all?
Happy? Not the best quality beef I've had from him.
The quality of the beef is actually quite poor.
After T.S. Nolan's dish now, I'm sure he's going to get some really harsh criticism from the judges. Do not think it's good enough for the banquet.
I have to say, I've got no idea what was going on there at all. All I can tell you is, in the final, you always feel your best team. That was not his best team. It's a 5.
It had no originality, no rhythm, it lacked flavour, it was just a bit of a disaster dish, to be honest, and for that reason, I'm giving it